Hey. I'm a really new channel, and at the end of my videos I always ask to leave any questions or suggestions for future videos in the comments below. And so far there's one person who regularly does this. So you know who you are, you're the only one. I appreciate you. So this one's for you. In my last video, which was about dog aggression, and more specifically fear aggression, he asked me to explain why dogs would attack children specifically pit bulls. In another video where I talked about genetics and how genetics influence a dog's behavior, I got another comment by another person also implying that genetics explains why pit bulls are so aggressive. So I kinda want to talk about pit bulls for a second. I will talk about why children are an easy target for dogs, for dog aggression, why not an easy target, but why kids are more likely to be the victim of dog aggression. But first, let's talk a bit about pit bulls. There's been a heated debate that's been going on for as long as I can remember that asks, are pit bulls inherently aggressive or is it all on the owner? Let me put up some pictures on the screen and see if you can point out which breed is the pit bull. You might have selected one, you might have selected even a couple, you might not be sure. The truth is, there is no pit bull breed. All dog breeds are categorized in separate official categories, and pit bull is not even one of them. All of these breeds I showed you were entirely different breeds, bred in different countries, for different purposes. They have entirely different personalities, so that already should tell you that saying pit bulls are aggressive dog breeds don't make any sense. And yet these breeds are overly represented in severe and fatal biting incidents. And there's a reason why these breeds are banned in some countries. Just take a look at the list of banned breeds in Germany, for example. Not all of these you would classify as a pit bull, but I bet most of them you would. So if saying these dog breeds, I will just call them pit bulls for the rest of the video, as much as it pains me to use that term. If saying pit bulls are an aggressive dog breed doesn't make any sense, then why are they so overly represented in these attacks? Well, the key words in severe and fatal biting incidents are the severe and fatal ones. Let's take a look at the Golden Retriever, for example. A Golden Retriever is bred to work together with a hunter. The hunter shoots a bird and the Retriever goes and retrieves it. Obviously the hunter doesn't want the Golden Retriever to damage the bird, so Golden Retrievers are bred to have what we call a soft mouth or soft bite, meaning that if a Golden Retriever bites, it's not going to be as hard. They also have a longer snout, which means it's harder to apply force at the end of it. Compare that to these pit bull breeds. When we are imagining a pit bull, we usually think about dogs with a certain skull type. They have a short snout and a massive jaw. These breeds aren't more aggressive, they're just a lot stronger and they are bred for different purposes. They're not bred to retrieve things. A lot of people tend to think that these breeds got bred for dogfighting, and that doesn't make much sense. Now, if you want to understand why certain dogs do things, it's very helpful in my opinion to look at the original purpose of why that breed was bred. Whether it's behavior or biology doesn't matter. Almost everything about a dog is bred for a certain purpose. I do mean original purpose. There's a lot of misconceptions about a lot of breeds. When I ask you, why are pit bulls bred for, there's a high chance you will say dogfighting, which simply is not true. They were not bred originally for dogfighting. However, the reason they were bred made them very effective in dogfighting, and so later on they got used a lot. So what were they bred for? Again, we are talking about a very large variety of dog breeds, so they are all bred for different purposes. It could be guarding dogs, it could be livestock guardians. Some of them got bred to hunt wild game, large game like boar. It makes sense that they have a biting style that is strong and meant to latch on. They don't just bite, they hold on to their target. Makes sense when you are hunting a boar. Combine that with improper handling and the chance of aggression increases just like it does with any dog. However, with these pit bull breeds, the consequences of improper handling are just way more severe. A lot of biting incidents with Golden Retrievers, for example, never even get reported. You might have some scratches, maybe some bleeding, at most a few stitches. It's incredibly rare for a wound made by a golden retriever bite to be worse than that. Whereas if a pit bull attacks, it's very likely to hurt a lot more. And that's why they are banned in so many countries. Should they be banned? Is that a justifiable reason? Should you maybe need to prove in a way that you are capable of handling and raising dogs properly before you get these breeds? Leave what you think down in the comments. I'm very interested to see what you think. Personally, I don't think they should be banned, but I'm probably biased because I like these dogs and I'm pretty sure that I could raise them properly. Also, Eowyn is asking you to subscribe right now. That's what she just did. But sadly, their tough and mean look does attract the wrong type of owner. I think we all can imagine what type of owner I'm talking about. It's just a matter of fact that most owners of these dogs should not own any dog at all. But if they are handled improperly, you create a very dangerous dog. Oftentimes, these dogs get taken away, put in shelter, where people adopt them with an unknown history, making things even worse. A lot of these pit bull breeds are actually very sweet and if raised properly are especially good dogs around children. That is because they might hurt the dog, and pit bulls have a high pain tolerance. But that still leaves the original question: why do children often get attacked? Luckily, this question is a lot more straightforward. Children are unpredictable. They can trigger fear or defensive responses by pulling at the dog's ear, grabbing their paws, pulling at the tail. And if the dog is not properly socialized to those things, like Eowyn is, they might get scared and attack. Also, like I mentioned in my previous video, dogs that are afraid will usually try to flee. However, kids tend to chase, and so when a dog is cornered, he has no other way to defend himself other than attack. That's why it's important for you to socialize your dog, so that your dog allows to be touched, even in places that are generally uncomfortable, while at the same time teaching your children to not do that. To not stare them directly in the eyes, to not chase dogs when they are walking away. It also helps to create a safe space for your dog. This is usually great, but it could be anything. As long as it's a place that's a bit tucked away, a bit away from everyone else, and everyone knows that if your dog is in that spot, you leave him alone. Obviously, if your children are around dogs, supervision is everything. It's your job to make sure your kids handle dogs properly, but also that your dog doesn't get scared if things go wrong. It's also up to you to recognize a dog's stress signals and to make sure that if you notice your dog is uncomfortable, to protect your dog from your children. And remember, most dog bites don't come from unpredictable dogs. They come from predictable situations, as long as you're able to recognize those situations. A child bothering a sleeping dog, taking food or toys away, hugging too tightly, or stepping on the dog's tail by accident. Kids don't understand boundaries yet, and dogs don't understand human intention. That's why we, the dog owners, the adults, need to be the bridge between the two and make sure that everyone is safe. But to do that properly, you need to learn how your dog communicates with you. And if you want to do that, subscribing so you don't miss any future videos is a great first step. And as always, any questions or suggestions, leave them down in the comments. I hope you learned something today, and I'm very glad that you made it all the way to the end. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.